In the quaint town of Willowbrook, the sunlit courtroom buzzed with whispers. Judge Clara Bennett, known for her stern demeanor and occasional sharp humor, presided over a peculiar case. Before her stood an old man, Henry Tate, with tattered clothes and a frail frame, accused of stealing a single apple from a market stall. The absurdity of the charge drew a rare chuckle from Clara, and the small crowd stifled their laughter. "An apple, Mr. Tate? Surely you jest," she quipped, adjusting her glasses. Henry, his hands trembling, admitted his guilt in a raspy voice. "I was hungry, Your Honor. My pension, it's not enough." The simplicity of his confession softened Clara's gaze, but she prepared to issue a minor fine, her pen already poised. Then, Henry reached into his coat pocket, pulling out a faded photograph. "I knew you once, Clara," he whispered, his voice steady now. The courtroom fell silent. The photograph showed a young Clara, barely 20, smiling beside a man who looked like a younger Henry. Memories flooded back. 1982, a stormy night, Clara's car broken down on a desolate road. A kind stranger had stopped, fixed her tire, and shared his last sandwich with her. He'd asked for nothing, disappearing into the rain. That man was Henry. Years later, when Clara's mother passed, a basket of groceries appeared at her door. No note. She never knew who left it, until now. Clara's laughter faded, replaced by tears. "You," she breathed, setting her gavel aside. The charges were dropped. In that moment, Willowbrook learned a timeless truth: kindness echoes through time, returning when least expected. Henry's quiet heroism reminded everyone, goodness always finds its way back. The Willowbrook courtroom remained hushed as Judge Clara Bennett wiped her eyes, the photograph still trembling in her hand. Henry Tate stood quietly, his weathered face reflecting decades of unseen generosity. Whispers spread among the spectators, the story of his past kindness to Clara igniting a spark of curiosity. Clara, regaining her composure, leaned forward. "Why didn't you ever tell me, Henry?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. Henry's lips curved into a faint smile. "Some deeds need no recognition, Your Honor." Then, from his pocket, he produced a worn letter, its edges yellowed with age. It was addressed to Clara, written by her late mother. Inside, her mother thanked an unnamed guardian angel who'd delivered food during her illness, a detail Clara had forgotten. The handwriting matched Henry's neat scrawl. The room gasped. This wasn't just about Clara. Henry had quietly supported her family for years. Clara's stern courtroom transformed into a space of reflection. She recalled her mother's stories of hope amid hardship, now linked to this humble man. Turning to the crowd, she declared, "This court recognizes a debt of gratitude today." The charges were not only dropped but replaced with a community tribute. Willowbrook would honor Henry with a weekly food basket for his family. The spectators clapped, tears mingling with smiles. As Henry left, head held high, the town buzzed with the tale. A local baker, inspired, began leaving free bread at struggling homes. Clara, too, pledged to mentor young lawyers in acts of kindness. The lesson was clear: one good deed can ripple outward, healing and uniting a community. In Willowbrook, Henry's quiet legacy became a beacon of hope. By 2:25 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time on that Sunday, May 25, 2025, Willowbrook streets hummed with Henry Tate's story. The courtroom incident had blossomed into a movement, its wooden walls now echoing with purpose. Judge Clara Bennett, still moved by Henry's revelations, visited his modest home that afternoon. The air carried the scent of sea salt and freshly baked bread, donated by the inspired baker. Inside, Henry sat with his granddaughter, Lily, her eyes wide with wonder as Clara entered. Clara handed Henry a certificate of community honor, her voice steady. "You've taught us more than law can." But Lily tugged at her sleeve, revealing a tattered journal. It chronicled Henry's life, acts of kindness spanning decades, fixing a neighbor's roof in 1995, tutoring a struggling student in 2001, all anonymously. One entry stunned Clara, a 2010 donation to her legal scholarship fund, credited to an unknown benefactor. Henry blushed. "I wanted you to succeed, Clara." The room filled with emotion as Lily whispered, "He's my hero." Clara, tears brimming, pledged to establish a Henry Tate Fund for Willowbrook's needy. The news spread like wildfire, igniting social media with #kindnessreturns. By evening, donations poured in, and a local artist painted a mural of Henry aiding Clara, adorning the town square. The lesson resonated: kindness, sown in silence, reaps a harvest of unity. Willowbrook's residents, once divided, now gathered to support each other, inspired by Henry's humility. Clara, reflecting on her gavel, realized justice wasn't just about punishment, it was about recognition. As the sun set, the town glowed with a renewed spirit, proving that one man's quiet deeds could transform a community forever. Willowbrook's newfound unity faced a trial. A storm battered the town, flooding homes and cutting power. Judge Clara Bennett, still reeling from Henry Tate's revelations, rallied the community at the town hall. The air was thick with damp wood and determination. Henry, despite his frail health, arrived with Lily, carrying blankets he'd gathered from neighbors. Clara's heart swelled, his kindness endured, yet, a challenge emerged. A local merchant, angered by lost profits from the apple theft case, demanded Henry's public apology, threatening to sue. The crowd murmured, tension rising. Clara, gripping her gavel, recalled Henry's past sacrifices. She called the merchant forward, presenting the journal entries and the Henry Tate Fund receipts. "This man's deeds outweigh your demands," she declared, her voice cutting through the storm's howl. The merchant faltered, then softened, offering a donation instead. The hall erupted in applause. Clara, inspired, opened the fund to storm victims, and Willowbrook's residents pitched in, food, clothes, and labor. Henry, exhausted but smiling, whispered to Lily, "See, good grows." By nightfall, the mural glowed under lantern light, a symbol of resilience. The lesson struck deep: compassion thrives in adversity. Social media buzzed with #WillowbrookStrong, videos of the cleanup going viral. Clara, watching Henry rest, realized her role extended beyond the bench, to nurture this spirit. The town, once fractured, now stood as a testament to collective kindness. As rain tapered off, a rainbow arched over Willowbrook, mirroring the hope Henry had rekindled. His identity, once hidden, now illuminated a path for all to follow. Willowbrook basked in the storm's aftermath, the air fresh with rain and renewal. Judge Clara Bennett sat with Henry Tate on a bench beneath the mural, its colors vibrant against the wet stone. Lily skipped nearby, distributing cookies from the community bake. The town had transformed, its spirit lifted by Henry's legacy and the #WillowbrookStrong movement, now trending worldwide. Clara held Henry's hand, her judicial robe replaced by a warm shawl. "You've given me more than I can repay," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Henry shook his head. "It was never about repayment, Clara. Just being there." A tear traced his cheek as he recounted a final memory. In 2015, he'd anonymously funded Lily's school fees after her parents' accident, ensuring her future. The revelation deepened their bond. Clara, moved, announced a new initiative, the Tate Bennett Scholarship, blending their names to support underprivileged youth. The crowd gathered, cheering as Henry stood, frail but proud. A local news crew captured the moment, broadcasting it live. Donations flooded in, and Willowbrook's recovery gained momentum. The lesson crystallized: kindness forges connections that heal. The rainbow from the storm lingered, a symbol of hope restored. Social media lit up with stories of inspired acts, strangers helping strangers, echoing Henry's quiet generosity. Clara, once a stern judge, now saw her role as a steward of this legacy. As dusk fell, she and Henry watched Lily play, their laughter a melody of redemption. Willowbrook, once just a town, became a beacon, proving that identity revealed through kindness can unite and uplift forever. Willowbrook glowed under a golden sunset, the storm scars fading into memory. Judge Clara Bennett stood at the town square, unveiling the Tate Bennett Scholarship plaque beside Henry Tate's mural. The crowd, now a family of shared purpose, clapped as Henry, supported by Lily, cut the ribbon. The scent of blooming flowers mingled with the warmth of community pride. Clara addressed the gathering, her voice steady. Henry taught us that kindness is a seed, it grows when nurtured. She shared how the fund had already sponsored 10 students, with more to come. Henry, eyes glistening, spoke softly, "I only wanted to help, but you've all given me a legacy." Lily hugged him, whispering, "You're everyone's grandpa now." The story's global reach exploded. #KindnessReturns hit millions of views, inspiring initiatives worldwide. A school in London named a library after Henry, and a viral video showed children leaving apples at neighbors' doors, echoing his first act. Willowbrook's bakery doubled its donations, and Clara mentored young lawyers to lead with heart. The mural, now a pilgrimage site, bore messages of gratitude etched by visitors. The final lesson resonated: true identity lies in selfless acts. As stars dotted the sky, Clara and Henry sat by the mural, reflecting. "You changed us all," she said. Henry smiled, "No, Clara. We changed each other." Willowbrook, reborn through kindness, stood as proof that one man's hidden goodness could ignite a movement. The story lived on, a timeless reminder to act with love, for it returns in ways we never expect. A gentle breeze swept through Willowbrook, carrying the laughter of children playing near Henry Tate's mural. Months had passed since the courtroom revelation, but its impact endured. Judge Clara Bennett, now a community advocate, organized an annual Kindness Day in Henry's honor. The town square buzzed with stalls offering free meals, books, and crafts, all donated by locals inspired by #KindnessReturns, which had now sparked global movements. Clara, walking with a cane after a recent fall, visited Henry's home. Inside, Lily showed her a new project, a scrapbook of letters from people Henry's story had touched: a nurse in Canada who paid for a patient's surgery, a teacher in India who started a free lunch program. Each letter thanked Henry, the quiet hero. His health had declined, but his spirit shone. "I never thought, my small acts," he whispered, voice frail. Clara smiled, placing a hand on his. "You lit a fire, Henry." She revealed a final surprise: the United Nations had recognized Willowbrook's movement, inviting Lily to speak at a youth summit. Lily beamed, "I'll tell them about Grandpa's heart." Henry's eyes welled up, his legacy secured. As the sun dipped low, casting a warm glow over the mural, the town gathered for a candlelit vigil. Clara spoke, "Kindness is eternal, it outlives us." The final lesson echoed, even the smallest act can illuminate the world. With candles flickering, Willowbrook vowed to keep Henry's light alive, a timeless beacon of humanity's best. Willowbrook's Kindness Day festivities paused as a letter arrived at Judge Clara Bennett's office. The air was thick with the scent of blooming jasmine, a symbol of the town's renewal. Clara, now a grandmotherly figure, opened it with trembling hands. It was from Henry Tate, written weeks ago, his handwriting shaky but clear. He had passed quietly that morning, leaving Lily in her care. Tears blurred Clara's vision as she read his final words: "Clara, you gave my life meaning. Promise me, keep the light burning." Attached was a key to a small lockbox, hidden beneath his floorboards. Inside, she found a stack of IOUs, debts he'd paid for struggling neighbors over decades, all unpaid, all anonymous. A note read, "For the fund." The sum was enough to expand the Tate Bennett Scholarship tenfold. The town gathered at dusk, candles flickering under the mural. Clara, voice breaking, shared Henry's legacy and his final gift. Lily, now 16, stepped forward, vowing to honor her grandfather. The crowd pledged to continue his work, donations surging as #KindnessReturns trended anew. A young boy placed an apple at the mural's base, a gesture echoing Henry's first act. The lesson lingered: promises born of kindness endure beyond life. Willowbrook's spirit, once fragile, now stood unbreakable, fueled by Henry's unseen generosity. Clara, gazing at the stars, whispered, rest now, friend. The town's light, ignited by one old man, promised to shine forever, a testament that even in parting, goodness leaves a lasting imprint on the world. Willowbrook's town square shimmered with candlelight, a silent tribute to Henry Tate. Judge Clara Bennett, her heart heavy with his passing, watched Lily Tate address the crowd. The teenager's voice trembled but held strength. "Grandpa taught me to give without expecting," she said, clutching the scrapbook of global kindness stories. The air carried the scent of melting wax and shared grief, yet hope lingered. Lily shared her plan. Inspired by Henry, she'd founded a youth group, Kindness Ambassadors, to teach children small acts of generosity. Her first project was a community garden, using Henry's favorite apple tree as its centerpiece. Clara, moved, donated the lockbox funds to the initiative, ensuring its growth. The crowd cheered, and a young girl handed Lily a seedling, whispering, "For Henry." By evening, the garden site buzzed with volunteers, children planting, elders guiding. A viral live stream captured the moment, #KindnessAmbassadors trending globally. A school in Japan joined, planting a sister garden, while a bakery in France sent apple pies for Willowbrook's kids. Clara, watching Lily lead, saw Henry's spirit in her, a quiet, selfless force. The lesson bloomed: kindness passes through generations, growing stronger. As stars emerged, Clara placed a candle at the apple tree's base, its glow reflecting in the mural's colors. "You kept your promise, Henry," she murmured. Willowbrook, now a global symbol, thrived on the legacy of one man's identity, proving that love, planted in small deeds, can bear fruit for eternity. Willowbrook's community garden flourished under a bright sun, the apple tree at its heart bearing its first fruit since Henry Tate's passing. Judge Clara Bennett, now retired, stood beside Lily Tate, who had grown into a poised 17-year-old. The Kindness Ambassadors group had expanded, with chapters in 50 countries, all linked by #KindnessAmbassadors. The air buzzed with laughter and the scent of ripe apples, a fitting tribute. Lily unveiled a new milestone, a global summit, hosted in Willowbrook, where youth leaders would share kindness initiatives. Delegates from Japan, France, and beyond arrived, planting seeds in the garden as a symbol of unity. Clara, her eyes misty, handed Lily a letter Henry had left for her, discovered in the lockbox. It read, "Lily, lead with love. The world will follow." She did. Her speech at the summit, streamed live, inspired millions, trending as #GlobalKindnessSummit. A delegate from Brazil shared how their community rebuilt a school with funds inspired by Henry's story. Another from Kenya described a water well project, sparked by #KindnessReturns. Clara, watching, realized Henry's identity had become a universal language of compassion. The garden's harvest was shared with local shelters, and the mural, now a UNESCO heritage site, bore a new inscription: "Kindness bears fruit." The lesson shone: one act can seed a global movement. As the summit closed, Lily placed an apple on Henry's grave, whispering, "We did it, Grandpa." Willowbrook, once a small town, now stood as a global heart, proving that identity revealed through kindness can unite the world.